Australian police say a German backpacker ate flies to survive after getting stranded by floodwaters in the Queensland Outback. 26-year-old Daniel Dudzis was found on Thursday, 18 days after authorities began searching for him by land and air.
Daniel was found at the Cooper Creek crossing, which is about 40 kilometres out of Windora, at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. A passing motorist saw him walking along the road and was aware that we'd been looking for him, and stopped, spoke to him, picked him up and took him into Windora. The area where he's found is where the Barcoo and Thompson River meet and turn into Cooper Creek. It's a very flat area where there is no real definition in those rivers when they are in flood, which is currently the situation down there. So once he realised he was going the wrong way, and as the rivers rose, as the water levels rose, he found himself stranded and isolated on a patch of bush with water fast flowing and rising. I think it rose to over 3 metres in depth on either side of him. So he had nowhere to go and no way of getting off that island. And unfortunately, he stranded there for about 10 days with no food, and had to survive on flies and bugs, and when the water subsided sufficiently, waded his way out and found himself back down on the road into Windora. Look, his spirits are still high. He was emancipated quite terribly, and to be honest, I don't know whether he had many days left in him. I think he's now admitting to that. However, he has refused medical treatment. He has purchased some small amount of food from Windora and intends to take a bit of a respite down in Windora for a couple of days before heading off on his trip again.
Inspector, what did he live on?
Look, it appears he's lived on some very small number of provisions. He had some baked beans and some cereal, we're led to believe. But once that ran out after the first few days, he says he's been living on flies.
Did that surprise you?
Look, it did. I've certainly heard of people eating insects to stay alive, but flies, who would have known? But apparently the protein content is quite good and can sustain some sort of life for a while.
Well, there's plenty of them at the moment, aren't there?
Look, there's no shortage of them, and that's a comment he made to us, that people won't die in the outback because there's too many flies to eat.
And were the police confident that he would be found?
Look, we at the beginning, we were reasonably sure that he knew what he was doing. As ill prepared as he was, he has travelled a fair amount of time in our country already on foot, with no supplies and with no equipment. So for the first few days, we were certainly hoping he'd taken a wrong turn and had simply got lost. But when we were pretty adamant he'd moved into that channel country and the waters rose, we certainly became very, very concerned for his safety.